Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win, yes!
And we had history in the NBA on Tuesday night. Only 8 have done it. Kevin Durant joined elite company, crossing the 30,000 points scored career threshold. How'd he do it? And did his Phoenix Suns win? Well, it was part of one of the 4 games across the Tuesday night light night in the association. Joel Embiid, he was in action as well. The trade deadline has come and gone, but has his time with the Sixers as well? If Philly were to move on, what could they get? Would they be smart too? Ponder it. Teams and matchups for the revamped All-Star format we will see on Sunday were announced. Will that format succeed or fall flat? All of that and more today on Z's and Threes. If you're a fan of the show, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend, and stay in the know. Let's get it. Group chat. Game of the night. Freestyle battle, me and Adam Lefko. Go with your boy here. Raptors, Sixers. It was the most competitive game out of the 4-game slate, in spite of both teams lingering in lottery land. It had 12 lead changes, 17 ties. The Raptors were up 13 early on, but a Tyrese Maxey made 3. Had things knotted at 103 with a $1.49 left. Well, where was this one decided? After a Raptors shot clock violation, Sixers possession with 20 seconds left. They are down 2. Tyrese Maxey drives, collapsed the D into the paint, kicks it out to a wide open Joel Embiid. Top of the key, no one within 15 feet. He passes on the 3, was 1 for 5, shooting from distance at that point. Drives the lane, turns it over to Grady Dick, who is then fouled. He makes 1 of 2, so the Sixers still have a shot trailing by 3. 5 seconds left. They don't get a great look for Maxey, who had struggled on the evening. It was a no-go. Raptors win. Big night for Scotty Barnes. 33 points and unethical, though. 15 free throw attempts. 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Embiid had 27, 12, and 4. Sixers on a 4-game slide. Raptors snap a 4-game slide. Contract news on the Raptors trade deadline acquisition. Brandon Ingram later on. Rest of the slate, 3 games. We start in Indianapolis. Knicks Pacers playoff rematch from last season, many other times as well. There is some good rivalry in that series. The finale of a 3-game season set this regular season. Teams having split coming into the evening. The Knicks would secure the tiebreak behind a big night from Karl Anthony Towns. Game went back and forth until halfway through the second quarter when the Knicks took over. Jalen Brunson had been in foul trouble the majority of the evening. Played just 23 minutes, scored 8 points, but Karl Anthony Towns, as mentioned, 40 points, 12 rebounds, and Josh Hart carried the team, both with double-doubles. Hart went for 30 and 10. Grizzlies, Suns, Kevin Durant, 30,000 career points within reach. He needed 26 to get there. It would happen from the free throw line with a $1.11 left in the third. He is the 8th player in NBA history to cross said threshold. The other, Wilt, Dirk, MJ, Kobe, Karl Malone, Kareem, and LeBron James. The milestone gave his team some life. They were trailing 13 at that point. They would cut it to 4 at the 8:32 mark in the fourth, and then to 4 once again at the 1:50 mark, but could never make the push to get over the hump. Grizzlies always had an answer. 26 from Ja Morant, unethical 12 free throw attempts. 20 from Desmond Bane. Pistons, Bulls. Boy, did this one get ugly. Bulls in the first half. You know the Bulls' MO. And if you don't, it's shoot the 3. And they just keep shooting the 3. They are the broke lottery version, well, right now play-in 10 seed version of the Boston Celtics. The Bulls in the first half, 1 for 23 from 3. They trailed at the halftime break, 71-29. It was a franchise record lead for the Detroit Pistons. They would lead by 49 points multiple times in the game. It ended at 132-92, the third largest margin of victory ever for a road game for Detroit. The Bulls go 35 of 100 from the field, 10 of 47 from three. They are the poster team for live by the three, die by the three. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists from Cade Cunningham. Third fastest player in NBA history to reach 4,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1,300 career assists. It has taken him 187 games. Oscar Robinson did it in 131. Luka Doncic in 169. Cade Cunningham has arrived on the scene, and his Detroit Pistons are continuing to play good ball. They have won 4 in a row. These teams will run it back. Pistons Bulls in Chicago again Wednesday night. So how would the 4 games played tonight affect these standings? Detroit, 6th in the East, are now a game and a half ahead of the Miami Heat and a game behind Milwaukee for the 5th seed. That 6th seed important because it guarantees you into the playoffs. The 7th seed, you're in the play-in. Knicks, they add a full game of distance over the Pacers, 3 and 4 seeds in the East. They are now 5.5 games ahead. With the Bulls and the Sixers both losing, Philly is still only a game and a half out of the 10, the final play-in spot. Bulls seem to be willing to pack it in. Would Philly play for a play-in spot? That was what I was asking. People have been talking about Joel Embiid. Does he have trade value? I don't know. I think at this point the Sixers season is a punt. Making the play-in would not serve any purpose for them. But hey, play it how you want it. Grizzlies, with their win, they are a game and a half ahead of the Nuggets for 2nd in the West. And the Suns' loss moved them below 500, a full game behind the Warriors for the final play-in spot in the West. Remember earlier when I told you one of those 2 teams, Warriors or Suns, would not make the play-in? Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. They ship around the United States. Order some water. Stay hydrated, folks. Karl Anthony Towns dumped in 40 tonight in his team's victory. Dunk of the night. You want to sponsor Dunk of the Night? Get at your boy. Info's down below. Scotty Barnes had a nice bang out over Kelly Oubre. Performance of the night. Well, it's not every night that we see someone make history, especially joining an elite company of 8 in NBA history. Kevin Durant, one of the best pure and efficient scorers the game has ever seen. 4-time scoring champ. The 2014 League MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, and hook 'em horns. Performance of the night, even though they lost the game. All the news items you need to know from Tuesday, the All-Star matchups, as mentioned, announced. If you are unfamiliar and you're expecting the regular All-Star format from years past, no, that is not the case come Sunday in San Francisco. It will be a 3-game mini format, all taking place on Sunday. Kenny's Young Stars against Chuck's Global Stars will be the first semi. So obviously these teams were rigged in the draft process by Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq, because Shaq's OGs will face off against Candace Parker's Rising Stars in the second semifinal. All 3 of those games will be played the first team to 40. The Rising Stars team for Candace will be comprised of the winning team from the Rising Stars 4-team mini tournament format that will feature NBA sophomores, rookies, and G Leaguers. Players joining new teams now that the trade deadline has passed and the buyout market has settled. Ben Simmons, former number 1 pick, bought out by the Nets. He will play for the LA Clippers. Will this be his final chance in the NBA? Ben Simmons, 28 years old, 2017-18 Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Defensive Player. You will see him next in a Clippers uniform as they are in the mix in the West. We'll see what Ben Simmons can bring to the table. Lakers, they have finally got their center as we await the Mark Williams process between the league, the Charlotte Hornets, and the LA Lakers. Well, it will be Alex Len, the 12th-year player, 5th overall pick from the Phoenix Suns in the 2013 draft, playing now for his 5th team in his NBA experience, previously with the Sacramento Kings. 36 games played this season, played 7.2 minutes per game, scoring 1.4 points. Speaking of centers, timeline on the injury for Dallas center Daniel Gafford. Well, he will be out at least 2 weeks with a sprained knee. Dallas needs to get to that all-star break. And finally, Brandon Ingram, as mentioned, inked a new deal, 3 years, $120 million, third year being a player option, as his new home will be Toronto. It will keep him out of free agency this summer. Player 28 years old. He is expected to return at some point before the regular season is over, has missed the majority of this regular season. Raptors core now moving forward. Scotty Barnes, Ingram, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Grady Dick. I'm intrigued. Told you I've been a fan of what Toronto does organizationally. I think Masai Ujiri is a very good GM. I like their coach, Darko Rajakovic. Oh, now they can add Brandon Ingram to the mix. House shoes tonight. Nike Triax have on in a olive green to go with the contract year theme. And I want to talk legacy because there has been no player more polarizing when it comes to legacy and the legacy conversation across this generation than Kevin Durant. In now his 17th year, as mentioned, two-time champion from his time with the Warriors, two-time finals MVP, going head-to-head with LeBron James in those finals, a four-time scoring champion across the NBA, and one of the most efficient and lethal scorers that the game has ever seen. And I think it gets lost, and I want to know when and why legacy talk became the most important thing to drill down to in moments that every game, one of 82 in the regular season, would come to define or adjust a player's legacy. You have to zoom out on these things. Kevin Durant, when he retires, whenever that may be, however much longer he chooses to play the game, should be remembered as one of the best to ever play, not just to ever score, but when did we become so infatuated with the talk of legacy in the moment? Because when we do such, I feel like we lose sight of the accomplishments and we don't get to enjoy the history that we are seeing. I've seen it happen multiple times in the MVP race over the last 5 years, and the storm brewing, not similar to the one between Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, but legacies will always iron themselves out at the end of players' careers. So as players continue to pen their legacies during, how do we zoom out and just appreciate those things, but not get lost in the sauce of, well, how does this define their legacy? Find it interesting. How do you remember Kevin Durant's career? As one of the best to ever play, or do you think, oh, well, yeah, but he had to go to Golden State to do it? Let me know down in the comments. That's everything that you need to know from Tuesday in the association. What to watch Wednesday? It will be a busy night. The whole league is in action. 15 games, 30 teams. Where do you keep your eyes? Well, Victor Wembanyama will be in the Garden, the one in Boston, to take on the Celtics. In the Garden in New York City, it will be Trae Young, always one of the most welcomed men in New York City, Hawks, Knicks. Take your eyes down to the Lone Star State. Warriors, Mavericks in Dallas. Clay versus Steph on opposing sides. Once again, Jimmy Butler still being incorporated. Anthony Davis out with his injury. Dallas in bad need of a win as their fans continue to face off against ownership and the front office with their displeasure. Finally, close out your night with an important seeding battle. Grizzlies, Clippers in LA. If you miss any of it, as always, you know your boy, I got you here. Z's and threes, we will hold you down. If you like the show, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend. If you're listening on pod, give us 5 stars. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.